Ravana is the primary antagonist in the Hindu epic Ramayana, where he is depicted as the rakshasa and asura king of Sri Lanka. Rama had once addressed Ravana as a Maha Brahman. Ravana is depicted and described as having 10 heads and 2 ears in total. He is described as a follower of Shiva, a great scholar, a capable ruler and a maestro of the Veena, but someone who wished to overpower the devas. His 10 heads represents that his knowledge of the 6 shastras and the 4 Vedas. In the Ramayana, Ravana is the antagonist, kidnapping Rama's wife Sita to exact vengeance on Rama and his brother Lakshmana for having cut off the nose of his sister Surpanakha. Etymology. Various explanations of the name Ravana can be found. The literal translation from Sanskrit is crying, or causing to cry. According to Sinhalese nationalists, the name Ravana means sun race, as Ra signifies the sun and Vana signifies generation. According to Lankan folk stories, other means for Ravana is sea after the jungle. According to the Hindustan Times. In modern Sri Lanka, there has been a movement to revive Ravana as a cult figure, who represents Sinhala or Sri Lankan nationalism because he was among the first in the island's history to have resisted an alien Indian invader. A third explanation emphasizes a Tamil background. According to Pagata, Ravana may originally have been a Sanskritization of Iravan, the Tamil or Dravidian for a lord or king. Ravana had many other popular names such as Dasis Ravana, Dasis Akvithik Maha Ravana, Dashayanan, Rāvaṇa, Ravula, Lankeshwar, Lankeshwaran, Ravaneshwaran, all signifying the qualities of his life. Variations of the names include the following: Bengali Aaa Ruban, Burmese, a euro, Jawi unregistered trademark Nai degree, Devanagari, Aaa Rāva to the first Gujarati, Aaa, Indonesian, Ravana, Javanese, Ravana or Desamuka, Canada, R squared degree R squared 3/4 R squared micron R squared pound Ravana, Kashmiri, Ravan, Khmer, a euro a shah paragraph aaa or aaa or aar euro a, Lao, Rafane Suan, Malay, Rawana or Wana, Malayalam, a degree A. 3/4 a micro a t micro a euro a Ravanan, Mranao, Loana, Marathi, aaa a Rowan, Nepali, aaa a Ruan, Thai, a squared a candela degree Rawana or corrupted as a squared aar to the first a rap, but more commonly a ta plus or minus aar to the first a Thotsikan, Tamil, a registered trademark AAAAA Ravanan, Telugu, a degree a degree 3/4 a degree micro a degree 3/4 a degree a plus or minus a degree a. Plus or minus a degree plus or minus Rava to the first a Surdu, Sanskrit, Rava to the first a, Sinhalese, a paragraph a euro a paragraph plus or minus Ravana, Yuan, Hbanisan, Marwari, Ravan Moreka, Ariya, Aaa Rabana. He is known as Dasis equals Dasais equals 10 heads. Iconography. Ravana is depicted and described as having 10 heads. Sometimes he is depicted with only 9 heads because he has sacrificed a head to convince Lord Shiva. He is described as a devout follower of the god Shiva, a great scholar, a capable ruler and a maestro of the Veena. Ravana is also depicted as the author of the Ravana Samhita, a book on Hindu astrology. Ravana possessed a thorough knowledge of Ayurveda and political science. He is said to have possessed the nectar of immortality, which was stored inside his belly, thanks to a celestial boon by Brahma. Depiction in the Ramayana, birth of Ravana. According to the Ramayana story, Ravana was the son of a rishi, a Brahmin father, and a kshatriya rakshasa mother, thus attaining a status of Brahma rakshasa. He being a rakshasa and a kshatriya at the same time, was an Agnihotri and an upasaka of Lord Shiva for the purpose of attaining great powers. Ravana was born to a great sage Vishrava, and his wife, the deity Princess Kaksi. He was born in the Devagana, as his grandfather, the sage Pulastya, was one of the 10 Prajapatis or mind-born sons of Brahma and one of the Satarishi in the first Manvantara. Kaksi's father, Sumali, king of the deities, wished her to marry the most powerful being in the mortal world, so as to produce an exceptional heir. He rejected the kings of the world, as they were less powerful than him. Kegsi searched among the sages and finally chose Vishrava, the father of Kibra. Ravana was a deity or rakshasa and he belonged to the caste of Brahmins. Ravana later usurped Lanka from his half-brother Kibra and became the king of Lanka and became a kshatriya thereon. Rama had once addressed Ravana as a Maha Brahman. His brothers were Vibhishana and Kumbhakana. Through his mother, he was related to the deities Marika and Subahu. Kegsi also gave birth to a daughter, Chandramukhi, although later she was dubbed the infamous Surpanakha winnow like nails. Further, Vishrava noted that while Ravana was aggressive and arrogant, he was also an exemplary scholar. Under Vishrava's tutelage, Ravana mastered the Vedas, the holy books, and also the arts and ways of kshatriyas. Ravana was also an excellent veena player and the sign of his flag had a picture of veena on it. Sumali, his maternal grandfather, worked hard in secret to ensure that Ravana retained the ethics of the deities. The Ramayana tells that Ravana had close connections with region of the Vedas, which included Gujarat, parts of Maharashtra and Rajasthan up to Mathura south of Delhi. Ravana is believed to be related to asura, also regarded as a rakshasa, of Madhupura in the region of the Shurasnas, who was conquered and killed by Shatrughna, youngest brother of Rama. After worshipping Lord Shiva on the banks of the Narmada, in the more central Yadu region, Ravana was captured and held under the control of King Kartavayu Arjuna, one of the greatest Yadu kings. It is very clear from the references in the Ramayana that Ravana was no commoner among the humans or asuras, a great chanter of the Sama Veda. To pay to Shiva, following his initial training, Ravana performed an intense penance to Shiva, lasting several years. During his penance, Ravana chopped off his head 10 times as a sacrifice to appease him. Each time he sliced his head off, a new head arose, thus enabling him to continue his penance. At last, Shiva, pleased with his austerity, appeared after his 10th decapitation and offered him a boon. Ravana asked for immortality, which Shiva refused to give, but gave him the celestial nectar of immortality. The nectar of immortality, stored under his navel, dictated that he could not be vanquished for as long as it lasted. Ravana also asked for absolute invulnerability from and supremacy over gods, heavenly spirits, other rakshas, serpents, and wild beasts. Contemptuous of mortal men, he did not ask for protection from these. Shiva granted him these boons in addition to his 10 severed heads and great strength by way of knowledge of divine weapons and magic. Thus Ravana known as Dasamukha or Dashayanan. King of Lanka, after winning these boons, Ravana sought out his grandfather, Sumali, and assumed leadership over his army. He then set his sights on capturing the island city of Lanka. Lanka was an idyllic city, created by the celestial architect Vishwakarma for Shiva and acquired by Kibra, the treasurer of the gods upon advice of his father Visravas. Visrava had asked for Sonki Lanka from Shiva's Dakshina, it is the gift Brahman gets for his services, for the house-warming ceremony he had conducted for Lanka. Kibra had generously shared all that he owned with Ravana and the latter's siblings, who were Kibra's half-brothers and half-sister from his stepmother Kegsi. However, Ravana demanded Lanka wholly from him, threatening to take it by force. Vishrava, their father, advised Kibra to give it up to him, as Ravana was now undefeatable. Although Ravana usurped Lanka, he was nevertheless regarded as a benevolent and effective ruler. Lanka flourished under his rule, to the extent that it is said the poorest of houses had vessels of gold to eat and drink off, and hunger was unknown in the kingdom. Devotee of Lord Shiva. Following his conquest of Lanka, Ravana encountered Shiva at his abode in Kailash. Ravana at first went to meet Shiva. Nandi, the vehicle of Shiva, refused to let Ravana in. He got annoyed and started teasing Nandi. Nandi in turn got annoyed and cursed Ravana that Lanka would be destroyed by a monkey. To show Nandi his love for Shiva, Ravana attempted to uproot and move the mountain on a whim. Shiva, annoyed by Ravana's arrogance, pressed his littlest toe on Kailash, pinning him firmly and painfully under it. His ganas informed Ravana of whom he had crossed, upon which Ravana became penitent. He plucked his nerves and used them as strings to compose music and sang songs praising Shiva, and is said to have done so for years until Shiva released him from his bondage. Pleased with his resilience and devotion, Shiva gave to him the divine sword Chandras. It was during this incident that he acquired the name Ravana, meaning, he, of the terrifying roar, given to him by Shiva. The earth is said to have quaked at Ravana's cry of pain when the mountain was pinned on him. Ravana in turn became a lifelong devotee of Lord Shiva and is said to have composed the hymn known as Shiva Tandava Stotra. Lord Shiva had given his sword Chandrahasa with a warning that if it was used for unjust causes, it would return to the three-eyed one and Ravana's days would be numbered. After Ravana had been given the celestial nectar of immortality by Brahma, he went on to please Shiva. He cut his head and put it as sacrifice for pleasing Shiva, but Shiva replaced his head with a new one. This was repeated 9 times, on which Shiva was happy and pleased with Ravana's resilience and devotion. Emperor of the Three Worlds. His abilities now truly awe-inspiring, Ravana proceeded on a series of campaigns, conquering humans, celestials and other demons. Conquering the netherworld completely, he left his brother Ravana as king. He became supreme overlord of all asuras in the three worlds, making an alliance with the Nivatakavakas and Kalakyas, 2 clans he was unable to subdue. Conquering several kingdoms of the human world, he performed the suitable sacrifices and was crowned emperor. Kibra at one point chastised Ravana for his cruelty and greed, greatly angering him. Proceeding to the heavens, Ravana fought and defeated the devas, singling out his brother for particular humiliation. By force he gained command over the devas, celestials, and the serpent races. At the time of the Ramayana, set several years later, Ravana is shown as dominating all human and divine races so much so that he can command the sun's rising and setting. Depiction in other scriptures, as Vishnu's cursed doorkeeper, in the Bhagavata Purana, Ravana and his brother, Kumbhakarna were said to be reincarnations of Jaya and Vijaya, gatekeepers at Vaikuntha, the abode of Vishnu, and were cursed to be born in earth for their insolence. These gatekeepers refused entry to the Sanatha Kumara monks, who, because of their powers and austerity, appeared as young children. For their insolence, the monks cursed them to be expelled from Vaikuntha and to be born on earth. Lord Vishnu agreed that they should be punished. They were given 2 choices, that they could be born about 7 times as normal mortals and devotees of Vishnu, or 3 times as powerful and strong people, but as enemies of Vishnu. Eager to be back with the Lord, they choose the latter one. Ravana and his brother Kumbhakarna were born to fulfill the curse on the second birth as enemies of Vishnu in the Treta Yuga. The curse of first birth was fulfilled by Hiranyakashipu and his brother Hiranyaksha in Satya Yuga when they were both vanquished by earlier avatars of Vishnu, and the curse of third birth was fulfilled by Dantavakra and Shishupala in the Dwapara Yuga when they both were slain by Krishna, the 8th avatar. Ravana's family. This section deals with many members of Ravana's family. Since they are hardly mentioned outside the Ramayana, not much can be said about them. They are presented here as they are in the Ramayana, which is viewed by some as being only the point of view of Rama devotees, but is the most complete account of the story that is known. Ravana's grandfather was Malayavan, who was against the war with Rama. Ravana's parents were Vishrava and Kaksi. Kaksi had 2 brothers Marika and Subahu, which would effectively make them Ravana's uncles. Ravana had 6 brothers and 2 sisters, Kibra the king of north direction and the guardian of heavenly wealth. He was an older half-brother of Ravana. They were born to the same father by different mothers. Vibhishana a great follower of Rama and one of the most important characters in the Ramayana. As a minister and brother of Ravana, he spoke the truth without fear and advised Ravana to return the kidnapped Sita and uphold Dharma. Ravana not only rejected this sane advice, but also banished him from his kingdom. Vibhishana sought protection from Rama, which was granted without hesitation. He is known as a great devotee of Rama. Kumbhakarna one of the most jovial demons in Hindu history. When offered a boon by Brahma, he was tricked into asking for eternal sleep. A horrified Ravana, out of brotherly love, persuaded Brahma to amend the boon. Brahma mitigated the power of the boon by making Kumbhakarna sleep for 6 months and being awake for rest 6 months of a year. During the war with Rama, Kumbhakarna was untimely awakened from his sleep. He tried to persuade Ravana to open negotiations with Rama and return Sita to him. But he too failed to mend the ways of Ravana. However, bound by a brother's duty, he fought on the side of Ravana and was killed in the battlefield. Before dying he met Vibhishana and blessed him for following path of righteousness. Kerala king of Janasthan. He protected the northern kingdom of Lanka in the mainland, and his kingdom bordered with the Kosala kingdom, the kingdom of Rama. He was well known for his superior skills in warfare. Dushana viceroy of Janasthan. Ravana king of the underworld ruled by the Rakshasas by Ravana and demon king Maya. Kumbhini sister of Ravana and the wife of the demon Madhu, king of Mathura. She was the mother of Ravana. She was renowned for her beauty and later retired to the sea for penance. Surpanakha the sister of Ravana. She was the ultimate root of the kidnapping of Sita. She was the one who instigated her brothers to wage a war against Rama. Ravana was married to Mandodari, the daughter of the celestial architect Maya, Danya Malini, and a third wife. He had 7 sons from his 3 wives, Menad, the most powerful son, Yoghmoththa, Attikaya, Akshaya Kumara, Devantaka, Mrantaka, Trishira, Mantha. In the great Bengali ballad, Menad Bodhkavaya by Michael Madhusudan Dutt, Bahu is said to be Ravana's son. Thus, it can be reasonably thought that Bahu is famous in another name. Historicity. According to the Uttarakhanda section of Ramayana, the Rakshasa, also known as Rakshasas, clan were the mythical inhabitants of Sri Lanka who were said to have lived among the Naga, Yakor and Deva. They were led by Malyavantha, Sumali and Sakesha of the Rakshasa, who were ousted by the Deva with the help of Lord Vishnu, and then subsequently ruled by King Ravana. The Rakshasa vanish from history after their mention in the Ramayana, except in Sri Lankan folk stories. European scholars consider the story of Ravana and the Rakshasa to have been made in historic times, due to the knowledge of Sri Lankan locations mentioned in the stories, and therefore the story is considered not to be based on fact. The Mahavamsa also makes no mention of a great Rakshasa civilization, and there is no archaeological evidence suggesting a civilization ruled by King Ravana existed. According to Uday Kumar, Vayuri V. Ramaswamy, used the Ramayana to radicalize the Tamils in southern India against Brahmanical supremacy and the domination of North Indian Sanskritic culture. For him, Rama, Sita, and all the rest of them were northerners without an iota of Tamil culture, but Ravana, the king of Lanka or southern Tamil Nadu, was a Tamil. Ravana temples. There are several temples where Ravana is worshipped. Ravana is considered most revered devotee of Lord Shiva. The images of Ravana are seen associated with Lord Shiva at some places. There is a huge Shivalinga in Kakinada, Andhra Pradesh, supposedly installed by Ravana himself, with a statue of Ravana nearby. Both Shivalinga and Ravana are worshipped by the fishermen community there. Thousands of Kanyakubja Brahmins of the village Ravanagram of Nataran, in the Vidisha district of Madhya Pradesh, perform daily puja in the Ravana temple and offer naivedhyam/pog. Centuries ago King Shiv Shankar built a Ravana temple at Kanpur, Uttar Pradesh. The Ravana temple is opened once in a year, on Dashera Day, to perform puja for the welfare of Ravana. A Jain temple in Alwar, Rajasthan is called the Ravana Parsvanath temple. The legend says that Ravana used to worship Parsvanath daily. While Ravana was on tour to Alwar, he realized that he forgot to bring the image of Parsvanath. Mandodari, Ravana's wife, is said to have made an image of Parsvanath immediately. And hence the Ravana Parsvanath temple at Alwar. Ravana is said to have married Princess Mandodari at a place about 8 kilometers away from Jodhpur, which is now called Mandar. There is a mandap where Ravana is said to have married Mandodari, and which the local people call Ravana Ki Shanwari. At the altar can also be found the images of Saptamatri flanked by Ganesha and Veerabhadra. The Saptamatri images are said to precede the time of the Pratyahara dynasty and are in fact reminiscent of the images of 7 female deities of Harappa, the oldest civilization in India. In the nearby Stepwell, a stone bears a script that resembles the Harappan script. The Dev Brahmins of Mudgal Gotra, Jodhpur who were originally from Gujarat, claim to be the descendants of Ravana. They say that since time immemorial they are performing the Shraddha of Ravana on Dashera Day every year. They offer pindan and take a bath after that ritual. They recently erected a Ravana temple in Jodhpur, where daily puja is performed. There is a theory proposed by Sinhalese nationalists that points to the southern part of Sri Lanka as the capital of Ravana, hence the name Ravana came to existence. Ravana is claimed to be derived from the words Ravanapura or Ruanapura, despite the linguistic improbability of Va becoming Ha in Prakrit. This is probably an attempt to tie Ravana with the history of that other national hero, Duttagamani, who was a king from that region. Marudeshwara Temple, dedicated to Lord Shiva, lies in the holy beach town in the Bhatkal taluk of Uttara Kannada district in the state of Karnataka, India. It is situated between the Honnavar and Bhatkal town and it lies on the coast of the Arabian Sea. The significance of this holy town dates to the time of Ramayana. Ravana wanted to attain immortality by penance dedicated to the Atmalinga. The divine lingam of Shiva procures invincibility and immortality to the Hindu gods. Lord Shiva appeared before Ravana and asked him what he wanted. Ravana requests the Atmalinga as his boon. Lord Shiva agreed to give him the boon with the condition that it should never be placed on the ground. It is believed that the Atmalinga was ever placed on the ground, all the powers would return to Lord Shiva again. Having obtained his boon, Ravana started back on his journey to Lanka. Sage Narada realized that with the Atmalinga, Ravana may obtain immortality and create havoc on earth, approached Lord Ganesh to help him. As Ravana was nearing Gokana, Lord Vishnu blocked the sun to make it appear as dusk. Ravana had to perform his evening rituals but was worried because with the Atmalinga in his hands, he would not be able to do his rituals. Lord Ganesh, disguised as a Brahmin boy, approached Ravana. He requested him to hold the Atmalinga until he performed his puja, and told him not to place it on the ground. Ganesh struck a deal with him saying that he would call Ravana thrice, and if Ravana did not return within that time, he would place the Atmalinga on the ground. As predicted, before Ravana could return after completing his rituals, Ganesh had already placed the Atmalinga on the ground. Vishnu then removed his illusion and it was daylight again. Ravana got really angry that he was tricked again and tried to uproot the Atmalinga and destroy it but could not. In a fit of rage he threw the case covering it to a place called Saurjeshwara, 23 miles away. Then he threw the lid of the case to a place called Ganeshwara and Darashwara, 12 miles away. Finally, he threw the cloth covering the Atmalinga to a place called Mrideshwara in Kandukajiri. Mrideshwara has been renamed to Marudeshwara. Ravana Dahan. Effigy of Ravana is burnt on Vijayadashami, in India at many places. It is said that it is symbolization of triumph over evil by Rama. Ravana, this ancient instrument is said to have belonged to a sovereign of India 5000 BC. Again, it also replicates the ancient instrument called Ravana which is found even today in Rajasthan. Mythology credits this creation to the great Sri Lanka king Ravana from Ramayana. The Ravana was played on one string which was 22 inches long encompassing the 3 octaves, whereas the violin encompasses the 3 octaves on 4 strings with a fingerboard which is 5 January 4 inches long. This 5 January 4 when multiplied by 4 is 21 inches, which was the size of the Ravana. Both are played with a bow. Influence on Indian culture and art. A Ramlila actor wears the traditional attire of Ravana. One of the most important literary works of ancient India, the Ramayana has had a profound impact on art and culture in the Indian subcontinent and Southeast Asia. The story ushered in the tradition of the next 1,000 years of massive-scale works in the rich diction of regal courts and Brahmanical temples. It has also inspired much secondary literature in various languages, notably the Kambaramayana by the Tamil poet Kambar of the 13th century, the Telugu language Molla Ramayana, 14th century Kannada poet Narahari's Tarave Ramayan, and 15th century Bengali poet Kratibas Ojha's Kritivasi Ramayan, as well as the 16th century Urdu version, Ramacharitmanas, written by Tulstas. The Ramayana became popular in Southeast Asia during the 8th century and was represented in literature, temple architecture, dance and theatre. Today, dramatic enactments of the story of Ramayana, known as Ramlila, take place all across India and in many places across the globe within the Indian diaspora. The Ramayana has inspired works of film as well, most prominently the North American Sita Sings the Blues, which tells the story supporting Sita through song. According to one not-so-famous legend, when Sita's Swayamvar was announced, Ravana also went to participate, and he arrived before Lord Rama. Some of the officials told him that his sister was being kidnapped. On hearing this, Ravana immediately departed from the Swayamvar and returned to his castle, only to find his sister well and sound. On returning to Sita's Swayamvar, he saw that she was already engaged. Ravana was outraged and issued the threat to Sita that one day he would return to make her his wife and take revenge of Rama to marry Sita as Ravana wanted to marry her. Notes. References. Sources. External links, Rainan Vadan Varanasi, The Importance of Being Earnest with Thotsakan's Death, Ravana the Historical King of Helidawar Ramayana Research, Ravana, the Greatest Emperor.